Ahoy there, folks! I'm Captain Benzie, and welcome back to another lesson for the Catskull Academy, the series that aims to blow the lid off of EVE Online and then pick through the wreckage to show you how it all works. Today's video is going to be a bit of a complex and talky one. I want to cover the massive topic of what can you actually do in EVE Online and how do you actually go about doing it, right? Well, EVE Online is arguably one of the biggest games in existence in terms of scope and scale. Not necessarily talking player count here, but certainly 20 years has built up an incredibly large community. But there is just so much that you can do in EVE Online, and a lot of it is fairly obtuse. The game has got much better tutorials than it had when I first started playing the game, but as the developers themselves admitted at FanFest last year, often the ability to train up new players and get people into the game does come down to the actual player base themselves. Corporations, help chat, that kind of thing are all there to help teach the things that no tutorial experience really could. And it's also why I'm here. So as I said, today we're going to be talking about what you can do in EVE Online, how to get started with it, and most importantly, how to actually figure out what the hell you even want to do in this absolute monstrosity of a game. So if you do find this useful, make sure that you check out the rest of the Catskull Academy playlist. You can also grab Catskull Academy exclusive merchandise, which is linked below this video as well. That all said and done then, let's jump straight in to talking about everything that you can do in EVE Online. Now, honestly, it would be pretty bonkers for me to try and do a video that tells you quite literally everything that you can do in EVE Online and how to do it. It's never gonna happen. But I am trying to create videos that talk about how to get started in the major career paths. I've already done one for exploring, I've touched a lot on the Enforcer path, and industrialism is something I want to get into a bit more, so look forward for more content on that. Soldier of Fortune is more the PvP side of things. That's become much more accessible recently, courtesy of the faction warfare updates. But again, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves here. What I've done to start this discussion is open up the Air Career Program. This is on your Neocom on the left-hand side of the screen. It looks kind of like a segmented circle with 4 dots in it. It's the best place to start once you've done your career agents. And what do I mean by the career agents? Well, basically, when you create your EVE Online account, you'll be eventually, after a short tutorial period, dumped into a station where there are a bunch of career agents who can give you missions and teach you about different aspects of the game, from building stuff, harvesting materials, to combat, to exploration. And these are all really worth doing. Not only do you earn a decent amount of ISK, you get good experience as to what kinds of things you can look at in EVE Online as a concept of what you might want to do. And beyond that, it's going to start filling out the Air Career Program whilst giving you ships. And the Air Career Program is fantastic. I've done entire videos on this, but to touch on it briefly, essentially you've got these 4 different paths you can follow that can earn up to 750 points in each of those paths. Earning points in those paths will earn you various rewards down the side of the screen here that will get you things like ships, skill points, and some really cool exclusive skins. And as you go along this, the cumulative points, so if you get, say, in this case, the first reward here is 50,000 skill points, that's once you've got so many points across all 4 of the paths. You don't have to do all of the paths, you can do bits and pieces of all of them. Your cumulative points will rack up here along the bottom. You can see I've currently got 445 at 750 career points, which is either one path completed or just, 300 here, 400 there, and 50 in something else. You'll start earning skill points as well, which are a great way to sort of help you get off the ground as to how you want to go skill training. So these are the 4 paths that the developers of the game kind of separate the game into. Now, anyone who knows EVE Online knows it does get more complex than this, and we will talk about that in a moment. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole Air Career Program here. I just want to touch on what these paths are briefly to give you an idea of what you might be interested in. So first of all, we have the Enforcer path. Enforcer in other games might be referred to as PvE combat. It's kind of your equivalent of going out there and doing quests, doing missions to earn ISK or to experience the game that way. And this can be done with things like the career agent missions, security agents who will literally say to you, hey, we've got some pirates in system, fly out to this location, blow everything up, and then come back to me. Or go out to this location a couple of systems over and try and destroy this installation. You don't have to kill the pirates, just make sure the installation gets blown up. That kind of thing. Little missions that you can do that will earn you ISK. There are other bits around here as well, like earning bounties. Basically, bounties is ISK that is just generated when you kill stuff in high sec, low sec, or null sec. You earn ISK just for shooting stuff and destroying it. Obviously, any loot you get is additional to that. Things like combat sites, epic arcs, even marketeering, understanding standings, and loyalty points. That's all explained here as well. We also touch on Abyssal Dead Spaces, which I think are one of the best ways to make ISK as a newer player. Running the lower tier Abyssal Dead Spaces is a great way to get involved in PvE combat with some very easy to skill into ships. Frigates are a great option for this, and you can move up to destroyers and cruisers. If that's kind of your thing. You can only go into Abyssal Dead Spaces with frigates, destroyers, or cruisers. You can do it as 1 cruiser, 2 destroyers, or 3 frigates. You can actually solo as a destroyer or a frigate as well, being aware that if you solo as a destroyer, because it's designed for 2 destroyers, you get double the loot. If you go in as a frigate, because it's designed for up to 3 frigates, you actually get triple the loot. But obviously, you need to be pretty good at that. Now, I've done plenty of videos as to how to start with Abyssal Dead Spaces. I've touched on security agents and things in the past. So if PvE combat sounds like your thing, actually flying shooty vessels and taking out NPCs, then going down the Enforcer career path might be for you. And you do this by coming into the Air Career Agent, having a look at these different options here, and also using the agency and opportunities to find other bits of content that you could do. So if I go into opportunities, the agency here, for example, if you like the sound of the different agent missions, you can look up agents and missions, and they will tell you what is available nearby to you for security agents. And so you can go to these people and start doing missions for them and start earning ISK that way. If you want to learn about other things here, you can look for encounters, which can be things like your home front operations and other forms of PvE that are available, or you can watch some of my videos on Abyssal Dead Spaces and figure out how all that works as well. Great way to get involved in combat. Now, if you're interested in player versus player combat, on the other hand, then the Soldier of Fortune path is going to be more your thing. Again, it's going to ask you to do the career agents, and then there's a load of other stuff around here that will teach you things like electronic warfare, capacitor warfare, support. The ability to lose your own ships is actually one of the things under destruction here. You have to lose your own ship over and over again to earn the career points available in this section. That's a way of the game basically saying to you, expect to die. Dying happens a lot in EVE Online, and getting salty or upset that you've lost your ship is not the way to play this game. Accept that you will lose your ship. Ships are just ammunition to you. You are a capsuleer. You are a semi-immortal demigod, able to command ships with the merest extension of your thoughts. These ships normally require crews of, in the case of battleships, hundreds of normal people, but you as a capsuleer, you just reach out with your mind and you make the ship do the thing, right? That's what EVE Online's all about. Get used to losing ships. Losing ships is not a problem. You just need to make sure you've got spares and backup. That's the entire cycle of the game. If I earn 100 million ISK and I lose a 10 million ISK ship in the process, I'm 90 million in profit, right? And that's how it works. You just always need to make sure you are looking at ISK positivity, but do expect that early on, you're going to lose ships. That is a natural and perfectly acceptable part of EVE Online. Embrace the destruction. If I can give you one big piece of advice in EVE Online, it's learn to love explosions. Whether they're your enemies or you, doesn't matter. Just love the explosion, right? And this is going to tie in nicely with things like faction warfare, which again, you can come to here in the Neocon. We can go in and have a look for the factional warfare panel, where you can sign up for the different enlistments here, the different factions, whether you want to go Caldari, Gallente, Minmatar, or Amarr. Heck, if you want to join the Pirates of the Gurustus or the Angel Cartel, you can do that as well. And these are a great thing to do, because joining those militias will open up new windows where you can chat with people who are in the same militia. You can join fleets with those people and work together to achieve those goals. You can actively fly with other people and ask them for tips and advice. You can be a tiny little frigate pilot flying around with other folks who are in top tier cruisers and battleships and things and still feel like you're making an impact. You can learn from these people. I'd also recommend, if PvP is something that you're interested in, look up groups like Bomber's Bar or Spectre Fleet, who will also teach you the ropes of PvP and get you involved in these group activities of blowing up enemy ships. It's great fun. You can make mad amounts of profit doing this by earning what are called loyalty points, which you then can spend buying some very rare equipment that you sell on the market to people who can't be bothered to farm the loyalty points. It's a great way of making money, and you can earn an absolute truckload of it. So that's the Soldier of Fortune path. Now, Explorer is the path that I arguably know best. This is sort of my main thing. Now, I'm showcasing all of this on a character that is basically parked in Jita just for buying and trading stuff, so don't expect to see the air career paths here filled out. This is all about flying around New Eden and exploring, funnily enough. Scanning down sites, hacking into containers to steal the loot out of them, and there are loads of different types of sites. I think a lot of people get bored of exploration early on because they think that you've basically just got these safe sites that you warp to, and you hack the containers, and then you take the loot and you fly off, and you just hope that you don't get ganked. Being an explorer means you are forever being hunted. You are the prey, right? Your aim is to get in, grab the loot, and get out quickly. And if you just stick to the safe sites, then that's kind of all you'll ever do, and it can get very boring very quickly. For some, I personally really enjoy the hacking minigame, and therefore I could just do this for hours in general. But then there are things like sleeper caches. There are things like ghost sites that have these nuanced ways of doing them that can have really high quality loot in them, but with much higher risk. And so you can consider doing that. Also, if you're going into the Explorer path and you are looking to join a corporation, for example, corporations love scouts. They love people who aren't afraid to jump into wormholes and scan things down and see what's going on. Heck, if you're interested in wormholes, it's almost like I'm part of a very large corporation that specializes in wormholes, right? Come join us. Join the Catskull Discord, linked in the description down below. We'll get you started in wormholes. You can come with us, have a great time, learn all the ropes. Don't be scared. We will teach you from the ground up. Just again, go in with that mentality of losing ships is normal and you'll be fine. We'll teach you everything. You can have fun with us, fleet up, learn the ropes. But beyond things like wormholes, there's scanning down gas sites. There's all kinds of different sites that you can find in HiSec, LowSec, and NullSec even that are only discoverable by scanning. And not everyone wants to scan. Not everyone likes the scanning minigame. Not everyone has skills in scanning. So if you're in a corporation, you can often be the guy who scans stuff down for other people, and then they go and do the content that they want to do. You're the one who finds the gas sites so that the industrialists can go out there and scoop up all of that sweet, sweet huffable gas, right? Now, if you're doing this right, you sell those sites to them. Or if you're, again, in a corporation, you'll often find that they'll be willing to give you part of their profits as a thank you for doing that. In Catskull, we also often have people who just watch our wormhole connections, who sit there cloaked up, happily watching the screen. They get paid per hour for doing that kind of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff you can do as exploration. And exploration does twin quite nicely with Enforcer. My biggest thing is ratting, which is killing NPCs, in C3 Class 3 wormholes. So I need to go out there and scan the sites down, scan the wormhole connections, make sure that everything's safe, and still be able to jump into a site and clear out all the enemies. And there are some different hacking sites that have enemies in them. So I use a ship like a Tengu or a Loki to go into that site, kill all of the enemies, and then hack the containers. That's what exploration does, and at the time of me making this video, I have got an entire video on just the Explorer career path if this sounds like something that you might be interested in. How do you find all these sites? Well, again, we go into the agency, we go into exploration, and we look for cosmic signatures here. And this will tell you where nearby there are cosmic signatures in a system that you can scan down. They might be wormholes, they might be gas sites, they might be combat sites. There's all kinds of things these could be, but that's how you're going to find what is close by to where you are. Exploration, I think, is something everyone should try at least once, but I would argue that everything I've talked about in this video is something that people should try at least once, so that you have an understanding of all the different machinery parts that that make up EVE Online. I didn't think I would enjoy gas huffing as much as I did until I tried it because of this air career system, and now I'm absolutely addicted to huffing gas in-game. This brings me nicely to Industrialist. Because, well, let's jump back quickly. Because in the Explorer thing, there is finding gas sites, but harvesting gas sites is part of the industrialist path. This again is going to have you trying out things like salvaging, which is where basically you strip wreckage down for parts. Someone else goes and clears a site, shoots all the NPCs, you come along in a salvaging ship and you turn that scrap into useful commodities that can be sold on the market. Resource harvesting, whether that is harvesting gas, whether that's mining asteroids, whatever it is you want to do there, you are turning in-game resources into commodities that, again, can either be sold on the market or used by refining into things that you can then use for manufacturing. And then you build stuff that you sell on the market for profit. Research twins in with this as well, because you are going to take your blueprints and modify those using research to make them faster to build things or require fewer materials, or even improve the amount of runs that they have on them before you need to find new blueprints. Then, of course, there are mining agents and distribution agents as well. Distribution agents are basically hauling missions, take this item from here to here. Decent enough way to make money. I personally find it a little bit dull, but some people really like hauling, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. And mining agents, again, it's kind of missions that you just go out there and mine. I'm not really familiar with many people who do this as a career choice. Most people I know who are interested in mining go out there and actually harvest proper resources, because mining agents get you to harvest resources that you can't actually use. It's go out to this site and get this particularly rare, weird, obscure mineral that does nothing else in the game other than hand in to me for a small token amount of ISK. I'd rather just go out there and harvest the actual minerals, turn them into ammunition or ships or whatever, and then sell that on the market for even more, right? So that is something absolutely you can do. But then hauling, oh boy, I need to do an entire video segment on what you can do with hauling. Because yeah, there are distribution agents, which honestly, to me, is kind of dull as dishwater, but to other people, I understand they quite enjoy this. Where it's like, hey, take this entire cargo hold from this station to this station and we'll pay you for doing that delivery. It's, again, kind of risky business. Haulers don't really have much in the way of defenses. They're not combat vessels. You are the prey. Other people want to shoot you because you could be carrying some really expensive stuff, right? Yeah. So you kind of have to get used to how to fly a hauler really well, especially for the more lucrative distribution agents that will take you down to low-sec or even null-sec. But once you've got into the habit of flying in nullsec, well, there are entire corporations out there who are entirely dedicated to moving people's stuff around. You pay them, and they will take your stuff from Jita to deepest, darkest nullsec. They will jump into wormholes for you and deliver what you want, where you want, if the price is right. And if that sounds exciting to you, because this genuinely does excite me, I quite like doing this for our corporation based in wormhole space. I'll often take out a Mastodon or a Prowler and go load it up with a load of stuff for other people and bring it back for them, taking a small cut on top as thank you for the delivery, right? It's a great way to make money that you can actually do a whole load of stuff. Like if you are doing a Jita run from Deepest Darkest Nullsec, and there's a whole bunch of people who suddenly want stuff, rather than just going and doing one journey there and back and bringing back what you want, you're also making money bringing back what other people want as well. And if you've got 10 people who are all willing to give you a decent amount of money to bring them back ammunition, for example, or to bring them back particular parts or objects that they need, they can be willing to pay quite well for that. And that one journey that you were going to do anyway suddenly becomes incredibly lucrative because you're doing something that no one else wanted to do. I love that. That is one of the greatest things about EVE Online. And so those are sort of your four main career paths, but I've already hinted that not only do these overlap, they also don't take into account that there are things beyond these that you can do in EVE Online. So talking about the overlap, for example, Enforcer and Explorer, you can use your Explorer-based skills to scan down combat sites that you then clear with Enforcer-based mentality. Soldier of Fortune and Explorer overlap nicely because most roams want a fleet of scouts to go out there and look for targets. Cloaked ships that are going to, warp next to a target, sit next to it, and provide a warp-in point for other people to warp to so they can destroy that target. Or vice versa, just counterintelligence against enemy corporations and alliances. That's all part of Explorer and Soldier of Fortune. Explorer and Industrialist overlap with things like gas huffing, where you go out and scan down wormholes, find gas sites, go in and mine them down with your your prospect or your venture or whatever. Soldier of Fortune and Industrialist can even work side by side, because you could be an Industrialist who also likes to PvP on the side. You might have a venture set up for PvP, because that's a thing. Industrialist Enforcer, you might decide that one of the best things that you want to do is go out there and do a load of Enforcer missions, then at the end of it, salvage all of the materials that you have left over and sell that on the market. This is the kind of overlap that you can get all the time. Even Enforcer and Soldier of Fortune overlink with Faction Warfare, that there are sort of NPCs that you're going to be shooting down. Explorer and Soldier of Fortune, there are hacking sites that you find in Faction Warfare. All of this kind of overlap. But what about beyond all of it? Well, we've kind of hinted at that with hauling and the industrialist side of things. But when we talk about corporations, there's also so much kind of stuff that happens outside of the game. Like in Catskull, again, we have a lot of people applying, right? Which means we have a welcome team, people who go through the applications, check people's history, make sure that they are a good fit for the corporation, and vice versa, that the corporation is a good fit for them. That is an actual job that a lot of corporations will pay people to do. Running your own corporation as a CEO, doing all kinds of the sort of behind the scenes stuff of running the game. Heck, we've got people like our scout leads who are there to train up new explorers. We have our PvP fleet leaders who are there to train people in PvP. These are tasks that corporations are always looking for. You don't necessarily have to set up your own corporation to have fun and feel like you fit in and that you're building something powerful and unique. You can find other corporations out there. And I talk obviously about Catskull because it's where I'm home. I don't lead Catskull, by the way. I've got a bunch of people who are far better at that sort of day-to-day running of a corporation than I could ever possibly be. But there are corporations out there that will help you do whatever you want to do in EVE Online. And armed with this knowledge, armed with what you might be interested in, go out there and try it. Don't dedicate yourself to any one path until you've tried many paths. Get a feel for what you like in the game before committing down one path. Yes, you might sit there and say, oh, I know I really want to do exploration, but I'm tempted to try some of the others. Get some basic skills in exploration so that you can start making ISK that way, but try some other stuff as well. Go out there and do some faction warfare. Rather than flying a probe, grab a probe fleet issue and go and scan down some of the combat sites in faction warfare and see if you can avoid being destroyed by the enemy militias. Earn some points for faction warfare, earn some loyalty points, do some hacking and exploration and Soldier of Fortune stuff at the same time. Have a look through the agency. Just browse this. Get bored one day, dock up, and just read through every single section of this. Find what there is. If Homefront operations sound cool to you, fleeting up to do these little kind of tasks with other people, go and give it a go. Try some resource harvesting. Grab a venture. You get one for free in your career agent missions. You can do those 3 times per faction. So that's 12 of these you can do overall. It's a great way to get a load of ship and standings, by the way. You can go out there and try all of these different things and see how you feel about that. Fleet up with new people. Try new things. Lose some ships. Fire some ammunition. Shoot some rocks with some lasers. Do whatever you need to do to try out different things. And I know it's easy for me to say because I'm swimming in ISK, right? It's a really easy way to, just jump out and do anything when you're rich. But you want to find something that you do find enjoyable. Just going online and being told, oh, Abyssal Dead Spaces are the easiest way to make ISK. You jump out there in the ship that you've been told to fly, in the Abyssal Dead Space you've been told to do, and yeah, it makes you a boatload of ISK, but you get bored of it really quickly. You're not going to enjoy your time in EVE Online, are you? You want to try different things. Find that thing that clicks for you. And from there, you can even go into opportunities and have a look at other things as well. A lot of this is like faction warfare or corporation-related stuff. You can browse by your career. You can look at your Homefront operations. There is so much stuff. Just explore. Click around. Find what all of these things do. Don't take my word for it. Just click and explore. EVE as a game really rewards people who are willing to just spend a bit of time and wander. Find things. And I don't mean necessarily go out there and find things in space. I mean just read through stuff. Heck, open up the market and start looking at different things down here. Like, what do the different types of ammunition do? What different ships can I buy on the market? Just have a look through stuff. Find your fun in whatever way you find it. try different things. Something will click, and that will be the part where you go, oh, this game's really good. And at that point, yeah, you come back to my YouTube channel, you go through and you have a look at all of the content that I've got for these different aspects. Everything on my channel is organized into playlists. So come onto my channel, click the playlist tab, and scroll down. See what you can find. Watch some videos. I'm not just trying to shill my own content here. I'm trying to help you find something that you will find enjoyable. I've had people who have gone, oh, I'd never even considered wormhole ratting until I watched your videos about it. I'd never considered gas huffing until I saw one of your videos. You know, I watch your channel and I'm more interested in the Abyssal Dead Space side of things, but I saw this and it looked interesting, so I thought I'd give it a go, and oh my god, I love it. Be that person. Step out there and find it. Once you've decided what you want to do, then reach out and find how you're going to do that. Look at what skills you want to train to make these things happen. Look at what the next level up from the basic stuff you've been doing is. Give that a go. You might find that actually, yeah, okay, I thought exploration was going to be fun, and I really enjoyed doing it for a while. Then I tried some of the harder sites and I realized it just wasn't for me. Cool. And try something else. And then you might find that, oh, actually, running missions is exactly what you've been waiting to do. And that'll be awesome for you. And I will have videos about all of these as well. But if you're new to EVE Online and you're looking to try these things out and you're thinking, oh my goodness, that just sounds like so many skill points. It's almost like I've got a link in my description you can click that will earn you 1 million free skill points if you've not used a referral link before. You just click it, you log in, boom, 1 million free skill points for you. I get a small cutback for that as well, which is really nice. So yeah, go do that. And come join the CatSkull Discord as well. Even if you don't want to join CatSkull, it's a great way to talk to like-minded individuals just about EVE Online, get to know the game, ask some help and advice, and people will be happy to help. I'll be happy to help. DM me, for crying out loud. Whatever you need to do to find your fun in the game, myself and CatSkull are there to support you. Anyway, folks, that's about everything for today. Hopefully this has answered some questions. If there is a particular career path you want to see more about, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you don't want your comment to be missed, consider even becoming a channel member. It's as little as £2 a month, and it gives you a load of really cool, unique perks. I have videos on the exploration path already. I will be going through the other 3 paths as well and talking about all kinds of different things that you can do with those. So do stay tuned for that, but comment which ones you want to see first so I know what I can get on with. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching right the way through to the end on this one. Happy sailing, good luck finding your luck, your fun, and see you in New Eden.